Latata, Lata Proshande Kata, Lata Proshatalaba, Reketatalaba, Late Proshana, Emparetata, Lata Proshande, Emparata, Lata Proshande Kata, Lata Proshana, Emparata, Rekatalaba, Rekando Shatalaba, Emparata, Lata Proshata, Reketalaba, Lata Proshana, Emparata, Embarakata Talaba, Rekete Terebo Shanda, Embarakata Talaba, Le Proshande Rebeba Shata, Embarakata Talaba, Rekatalabo Shande, Embarekata, Lata Proshante, Embarakata, Lata Proshata, Rekata Talaba, Rekando Shaterebe, Embarakata, Lata Proshata, Embarakata Talaba, Rekande Proshanda, Embaratata, Rekande Rebebo Shata, Rekatata, Lata Proshanda, Embarekata, Jantalarabo Shaterebo Shata, Lakatata, Rekatalabo Shaya, Embarekata, Le Proshande, Embarakatata, Shata Katalaba, Lante Proshande, Embarata, Jakatalaba, Embarekande, Emproshata, Lata Proshata, Embarakata, Rekande Proshata, Reketerebo Shande, Embarekatalaba, Lata Proshana, Embarekata, Shatalaba, Lata Proshande, Emproshatalaba, Embarakata, Shatatalabo Shande, Embareketerebo Shanda, Embarekatalaba, Leproshanda, Embarekata, Rekando Shatalaba, Rekatalabo Shande, Embarekata, Shatatalaba, Embarata, Shatalabo Shata, Embarata, Jekande Proshatalaba, Embarata, Lekando Shande, Embarata, Shantereba, Embarata Talabosha, Embarata, Embarekata, Shatakata, Lata Proshande, Embarata, Embarekata Laboshande, Emproshataraba, Rekando Shetalaba, Lata Proshata, Embarata, Ekatalaba, Rekata Talaboshata, Rekantaya Deboshata, Embarata, Lekantaya de Proshanda, Embarekata, Lekata Talaboshanda, Emproshata, Rekande Proshata, Lata Proshataraba, Rekatata, Lata Proshata, Embarata, Lata Talaboshata, Emproshataraba, Embarata Talaba, Rekatata, Lata Proshata, Embarata, Ekatata Laboshata, Lata Proshata, Embarata Talaba, Rekatalaboshata, Embarekete Tereba, Rekatalaba, Yanderebo Shande Ketalaba, Lata Proshata, Embarekata, Lata Proshata, Lata Taya, Embarakata, Lata Proshata, Embarata, Rekatalabo Shande, Embarata, Lata Proshata, Rekatalaba, Rekando Shata, Embarata, Lekataya, Emproshataraba, Latando Shata, Emproshata, Lata Proshata, Lakatata, Lekatarabo Shande, Embarata, Lekando Shataraba, Rekata, Embarata, Shata Tarabo Shande, Emproshata, Lekando Shataraba, Rekatata, Lekando Shataraba, Reketerebo Shande, Empareta, Lata Proshande, Emparata, Lekando Shata, Emproshande, Emparata, Rekando Shataraba, Latando Shande, Emparata, Rekatalabo Shande, Emparete Terebo Shanda, Rekatalaba, Latando Shata, Reketata, Lekoto Shatata, Rekatalaba, Lepro Shande Kata, Rakando Sheta, Emparata, Lekando Shata, Emparata, Rekata, Latando Shata, Empareta, Rekatalaba, Rekata, Ishkata Talaba, Lepro Shata, Empareta, Latambro Shande, Emparata, Emprashande Ketaraba, Rekande Proshatalaba, Lepro Shatata, Rekande Katara, Lekata, Lepro Shatalaba, Rekande Proshatalaba, Emparata, Rekata Talabosha, Emparata, Rekatalabosha, Emparata, Rekete Tereboshana, Lata Proshanda, Emparakata, Lata Proshata, Emparata, Shatakata, Lata Proshata, Emparata, Lekatalabo Shande, Eparatata, Shatalaba, Rekatalabo Shande, Epareketalabo Shande, Emparata, Shatakata, Latatalabo Shata, Emparata, Shatalaba, Emparata, Lata Prashande, Emparekata, Lata Prashande, Emparata, Shatatalabo Shanda, Empareketa, Lata Prashande, Emparata, Lata Prashata, Empareketa, Lata Prashata, Emparata, Rekata, Lata Prashata.
Today, my God, as I break that yoke of bondage, as I break that yoke of bondage, as I break that barrier, my God, let me wear, my God, for you are with me, my God, for you are mighty, I shall walk in the fear of the Lord, my God. I shall always be in your ways. My God, I do not depart from your ways. I do not depart from your commandments. My Lord, my God, be glorified. My God, my Father, be glorified. For your name is mighty. Your name is Jehovah. Your name is with my God. Let your word fill my heart. Let your word fill my soul. That my God, my Father, I come before you, my God. I shall love you with all my heart, with all my soul. For there is no one, My Lord, my God, thank you, my Father. Thank you.
Blessed Redeemer. Father, we give you praise and thanks this morning. We honor you for your goodness, your loving kindnesses, and your tender mercies.
Yes.
Be glorified this day as we gather together. We ask that your hand would continue upon our lives. We ask that your glory may continue to be upon us, that we may be differentiated from those who are not covenant people. For that you will always receive our praise. In Jesus' name, amen. Please come take your seats. Thank you. good morning. All right. As we begin, I want us to quickly walk through if you have demonstrated any leadership trait by now, you are part of either training or you are involved somewhere in leadership. How does a person demonstrate leadership? Leadership is not a theory. It is not what we say. Leadership is what we do. The greatest need of the world today is nothing other than leadership. So, what then is a process of leadership? If there wasn't a need, the need points to purpose, because if there is no purpose, there cannot be a need. The need facilitates the requirement for leadership. In other words, because there is a need that arises, leadership becomes a requirement. If there was no need, there would be no requirement for leadership. So one of the things that gets asked in all different types of forums all over the world is the question, is someone born with leadership, or does someone grow into leadership? Many thousands of articles have been written on that. My simplest view is people are born with varying levels of leadership initiative. In other words, there is the sort of person who will see a thing happening and not be moved to do something about it. There is someone else who sees a need and is burdened to move in and do something about it. Therefore, they display this. I don't know what you guys were testing. This can't be tested sound. They therefore display a higher level of initiative in relation to what you may be dealing with. In other words, they show an aptitude to do something about a need that has arisen or a need that is in manifestation at that time. That's why that's very interesting. Normally, I sit in my office and I watch. The people I like to watch the most is Bible school. I can tell from my office people who are in Bible school because they felt compelled to be in Bible school. I can tell from my office people who wanted to be in Bible school. You tell it, number one, by how regularly they are late. lateness to any event is always a sign you are not fitting. I don't care what it is. Here right now, there are some of you who are permanently late. So your punctuality card can be written for the next 5 years. It has nothing to do with transport. It has nothing to do with circumstances. It has to do with an inner discipline and dynamic. When I'm driving to the office, when we have meetings, it never ceases to amaze me to see people. Sometimes you see these young girls who got pregnant at 16, carrying their babies. Service started 9:30. This is those days I would be coming to church after preaching in Ntumbane. So I'd be making my way through here at about 10:40. So 20 to 11. Literally dragging themselves. And you are assured they'll be pregnant again soon. Why? Their lives announce who they are. Even a man who didn't want to have sex with them, when he sees them, he just thinks, you know why not? This is sex on 2 feet, just walking. I'm going to have sex. Hope somebody's listening. The need is what produces the requirement. In other words, you cannot have leadership where leadership is not required. You recognize that when God created Adam, Adam was created a leader. He did not develop into a leader. He was created a leader and digressed into a follower. Is that making sense? The Lord never set up leadership structures on earth. Ever. Leadership structures were a dynamic that got created by fallen men. The need for leadership is because of the refusal to take responsibility. The Lord's instruction to mankind was, be fruitful, multiply, have dominion. Right? If every person in this commission took responsibility, there would be no leader. If somebody came here in the morning and decided, you know what, before people come, I want to make sure the auditorium is clean. If somebody said, you know what, I'm going to come here and just ensure that the sound is fine. You hear me fight with the sound guys almost every meeting. But they supposedly come here to test the sound. What is the problem? This problem with sound is not solvable. The reason it is not solvable is you have people who have no love for sound doing sound. Are you sure you're... Why is it that in every meeting I'm going to talk about sound? Because they have never seen, because they don't know. You can't heal what you don't know. Are you sure you're understanding this? The reason I always tell you things as bluntly as I can, and the one thing about this ministry that we must all understand is I have no sacred cattle. There are no sacred cows here. If you don't do your responsibility, you are an example that I must use. If I ever do what is done, look at our government. 38 years of existence in April. We have people today who are holding high positions in the so-called renewed government, who everybody knows are criminals. There is no leadership. Why? The purpose has never been seen, therefore there is no. So I have a guy, expert engineer, sound engineer in South Africa. All he's waiting is a telephone call from me to call him and say, come in for training. We discussed 3 days training. How am I going to bring in a guy who's an expert, who's going to come and do, because many of you don't understand that sound engineering is actually a science. You cannot technically do sound engineering until you have an appreciation of physics. Sound engineering is mathematical. It's about, that's at the top. It's about calculating. But then there is an aspect with every field that is called natural. Natural means you have an ear that hears. Why am I always correcting exactly the same thing? I'll correct it today. I guarantee you tomorrow, moment I walk in, I'll be correcting it. I'll come here, stand here, and then someone is busy now twisting knobs. They are supposed to have been here 30 minutes before to ensure that the sound. How many times have I done the sound? How many times has Pastor Josh done the sound? But because there is no need, the need has never been recognized, therefore there is no sense of purpose. We are just, so it's just a matter of just twisting knobs. But there is no competence to actually say, no, this is what the correct sound sounds like. You can never be a leader until you understand purpose. Purpose culminates from the need. If there is no need, there cannot be purpose. Are you sure you are getting this? So the need, because there is a need, it therefore creates a purpose. Now, that then, in terms of the process, will create emotional imbalance. So, I walk into the toilet and someone has just used the toilet, didn't bother to flush, or they've just come, taken toilet paper away and all. The difference between a leader and a follower will walk in and say, walk away. A leader will do something about it. Are you all here? A leader will get upset. Why do people do this? We need to do something to stop people doing this. A leader will walk in through the front gate and find cars parked all over in a disorderly manner. A leader is bothered. A leader is driving here and the combi is blocking the gate. It doesn't wait there waiting for the combi to move. A leader will express himself. Move away. What do we need to do to stop combis parking on the gate? So a leader deals with the problem now and then seeks ways to mitigate the problem. That's why they're a leader. If there was no problem, number one, need, which leads to purpose, there would be no need for leadership. But how is it that even with a need, you still find people who pass right straight past because the thing that frustrates you doesn't seem to be frustrating someone else. It's the leader or the absence of the leader on the inside. Let me repeat what I said to you again. It is unnatural to not be a leader. It is unnatural. There is something wrong with your life, with you, to not be a Eskolo, grade 1 teacher. We look at children and say, you are now the new monitor. What's your name? Doesn't even know the name. You are now the class monitor. Why? Because the teacher looked and saw initiative. When the teacher said, bring the books, other children were just passing over the book to the next one. This one stood up and started collecting. Are you getting anything? Why did that child stand up and start collecting the books? Because the child saw the disorder in everybody and the child decided, no, I'm going to do something about this. It is because of the emotional imbalance. The child's mind or their heart or their emotions are being disturbed. In other words, the order, the equilibrium in this child is being affected. When your equilibrium is not affected, everything is acceptable. Are you understanding this? Good leaders are people who will always recognize the need in such a way that they are not looking to solve what affects them. Mugabe was only concerned about one person, himself. Didn't care whether people died of cholera. People were dying of cholera. I was saying the Minister of Health is talking to foreign ambassadors for $110,000. They were ordering 300 Navaras for the CIO. Each Navara costing 60,000. How was that possible? You're ordering 300 cars for 60,000, but you don't have 110,000 for the eradication of cholera in the whole country. He never saw the need. And because he never saw the need, there was no emotional imbalance. Why? When he wanted to go to Shimba, he had told them, surface the whole tar. The business routes that bring exports into the country, Byte Bridge, trucks are having to drive like this because the whole of Byte Bridge is one big pothole. But he will surface his road to his homestead. Then his daughter is getting married. Which way is the wedding party going to drive? Harare City Council went and resurfaced a road for a wedding reception. Whenever we have ZITF, Bulawayo City Council will go resurface the roads. It's going to continue even now. You don't believe me? Go and watch what will happen in March. Just next month. Go and watch what will happen. Repainting road signs, putting in new signs and all and all. The people can't find money to build houses in Pumula. But we do have money for sure. What is the problem? There is no need seen, therefore it's not creating an emotional imbalance. The emotional imbalance is what creates the frustration, and there can never be leadership without frustration. Why was Adam a leader? Adam was a leader because the Bible says the secret, or rather the answer, is seen in verse 2, Genesis chapter 1. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Verse 2, and the earth was without form and void, meaning the earth was scarred and mud. So, in other words, there was disorder on earth. If there is disorder, disorder immediately creates the necessity for leadership. Is this making sense? Disorder creates the need now that there is frustration, there is, because of the need, there now comes a need for and what are leaders? Leaders are simply problem solvers. You know you have a serious problem when you have a leader who's always running to tell you this is not working. That is, you don't have a leader, you've got a commentator. Oh, these people are saying our church is not growing because these people are not coming. This one here, our department has a problem. You know, the people come in and then they leave after a month. You've got a commentator, you don't have a leader. Sometimes we confuse position or title for function. You can go get a card box, paint it and write BMW. It's still not going to move. So sometimes you think you have a leader and all you have is a cardboard box with the painting of a leader. Why? If there is no problem solving, there is no leadership. Because this is necessitated by that. And it goes through the process. In order for the person to desire solution is because they are frustrated. The need for solution then gives rise to the seeking of processes. Leadership is not, I got appointed, so I'm the one in charge of this. Okay, you are the one in charge of that. What have you added to it so far? When did you become in charge of it? Oh, I'm the one in charge of youth. Okay, good. Since when? Since such and such a time. How much has it grown since you are in charge of it? If it has gone down, you need to be fired, and fired fast. If it has not developed, if there is no value that has been added to it, you are not a leader, you are a problem. Are you sure you are getting this? Am I speaking things that are confusing? I'm frustrated, therefore now I must seek for a... But the seeking of the solution must create a process. Solutions are normally not... What's the word? As very deep as people want to imagine they are. Our greatest challenge is always trying to find discount things in life. Want a discount wife? Want a... One of the things that has bothered me at times when I talk to men who are going to get married and they start manifesting because of a lobola tag. You find you're manifesting because of a lobola tag, you actually really don't love the person. Okay, so let's come down to the brass tacks here. When I went to get married, or to pay lobola, $2,000 was a lot of money. I remember I saved that money. I'd been saving it over a year, if I'm not wrong. So I gave the people that went, I gave them 2,100. And that was 27 years ago. 2,100. When the lobola had been finished, I owed, I think, about 2 point something with the other things, but another 2 point something. I never had the opportunity to pay the balance because this was not a business transaction. When you have a business transaction mentality, then when you do something for your in-laws, you go and you subtract it of the lobola. The lobola is a symbolic gesture. Are you sure you're hearing? So I spent possibly treble that amount that I was owing on my in-laws. So that's why years down the road, when someone started manifesting, had a delegation come to my house after both my in-laws passed away. Oh, you didn't finish paying lobola. I looked at the people. I said, I'm sorry, I'm not prepared to talk anything with you. And it's size yami lonke. What? You just thought suddenly someone had a revelation. Oh, you know, the car you want to buy or the sofas you want to buy. Remember. So I just politely told them, I am not going to discuss this with you. Period. Don't I want to pay it? Oh. If a properly constituted came to me right now, I'd pay. But I'm not going to pay just because when I'm with Slobo Escona and Ules Kwelete Zako, this wasn't your child. Are you sure you're getting this? Need must somehow ignite the woman who is a leader, or in this instance, shall I call her by her other name, mother, passes by, a baby is crying. She doesn't walk past. She stands and says, Auntie, Katumtuana, what's wrong with Umtuhan? Whereas every other woman has been walking past, this one stands and says, what is wrong with Umtuhan? Why? Ngoba ute edlula wezwa ehelelwa. The crying, which was a nuisance for others, produced in her emotional disturbance, not nuisance. Are you guys sure you are really understanding this? The need produces in the leader frustration. The frustration now necessitates the seeking or the pursuit of a solution. The pursuit of a solution now necessitates the seeking of a process, because the leadership you figure out, leave the window. All right, yes, $30. I'm letting a little window. That's not leadership. That's just you've got $30. Having $30 doesn't make you a leader. How did the window break? No, we just found it broken like that. No, let's go up on the roof. So you go up on the roof and say, hey, was it? Is there a stone inside the auditorium? No, there isn't a stone. Okay. So how did the window break? So look. Oh, okay. The frames contracted because of the way they were made. The frame contracted more than the glass. The contraction of the frame and the glass is different because of the changes in weather. Therefore, the window broke. So instead of taking $30 and buying a window, what I need to do is I need to fix the frame. Because leaders are concerned with what? Are you guys here? The seeking of a solution tells you the difference between a leader and a non-leader. But qualify this, I said to you already, God never created non-leaders. We're together. The seeking of a process then now creates and develops systems that will be used not only here, but they can be taken by someone with a similar problem and say, oh, no, I know. He wrote a book. So you will then take, bring it here, apply. If it's the same problem, you apply the same solution, maybe with variances, or you vary some things, but the principle remains the same. Then the leader applies the solution, and that leads to evaluation. Because after he has applied the solution, whenever you hear people say, what is it? Did you do as we discussed? Oh, I told so and so. Please ensure the auditorium is clean. So and so, is the auditorium sorted out? Oh, I told so and so. Until you have gone through the entire process, applied the solution, then done an evaluation, there is no leadership that has been applied. An evaluation simply is going back to say, is the solution working? So the solution we used a size 12. No, size 12 is not working. Bring a 14. 14 is not working. Is there a size 13? We don't know. Then you investigate. No, there is no size 13. So what do you do? Go and make a size 13. Are you sure you're getting this? Go and make the size 13. There is only size 12. Now, I worked in fashion for a long time. One thing that never ceases to amaze me is everybody is comfortable going through life being told what is acceptable and not acceptable by someone's standard. So we'd go into the shop and I'd ask, why at that time I wore a size 10.5. I need a size 10. No, we don't do half sizes. Okay. What are you? We are a store. Why do you exist? To sell to people. So how are you selling to me when you don't have what I need? You can't tell me you don't have a 10.5. As if, in our stores, we don't do half sizes. In other words, in our stores, we've decided there is a certain business we don't want. You sure you're getting this? Or you have people who say, we don't do big sizes. Okay, fair enough. Are they big people? Yes. Do they come into your shop? Yes. So how come you don't do big sizes? Oh, you know, big sizes are a problem. You know, they remain. All right. Let there be a cell. Go and check the cell. Ladies section, you have got size 8. Not every woman is anorexic. Are you sure you're getting me? So you have the same sizes, small sizes. They are all on sale. By the way, some of you have this mentality that sales are done to keep the customers happy. No, sales are done because things are not selling. All right? So now, so you are putting on sale small sizes, but you don't do big sizes because they don't sell. How many of you know what I'm talking about? Have you ever been to the shops? Because ulenu epagate shop labana which doesn't want to think. Most buying departments, clothing buying departments, operate on a basis. You go there, no, size 8, we buy 5%. Size 10, we buy 8%. Size 12, we buy 14%. Size 14, we buy. Okay, fair and fine. Why do you buy those percentages? That's where the conversation dies. Why? What do you think the problem is? Leadership. What about leadership? Can I please hear, not mumbling? Someone refused to think. Are you here? I'm beginning to regret why I said everyone can come. Or maybe it's the actual department heads who are a disappointment. A person refuses to look and say, what styles are suitable for small people? What styles are best for big people? What fabrics work better for small people? What fabrics work better for big people? We don't live in South Africa. We are not in South Africa here. You meet a person, they are wearing sheer fabric. It's see-through fabric. See-through fabric is not suitable for any size. We'll stop there for now. My entire life centers around finding solutions, creating processes. So that's why you'll find many times I'm very ruthless. I don't believe that people who don't think can remotely be leaders. In fact, I know that people who don't think can remotely be leaders. You know you don't think by the way you allow your brain not to develop. How can you evaluate right now whether you are a thinker or not? What book have you read the last 2 weeks? If you haven't read any book the last 2 weeks, you are not a thinker. It is not possible for a thinker to actually let their brain fossilize. Thinkers are always challenging themselves. Why are they challenging themselves? Because of the need. The need necessitates development. Are you sure you are here? I don't know how many things I read this morning. Went to bed at about 2 a.m. In fact, I think I sent you one of the articles. What is it? 9 signs 9 habits of unsuccessful people. I didn't send it. I have a video that I might send on how to develop bad sleeping patterns. Did you know that if you continuously don't get proper sleep is not going to bed. Proper sleep is when you go into the deep sleep. Did you know that if you don't develop a lifestyle of going into deep sleep, you have a 200% chance of developing Alzheimer's disease? And for men who don't get enough sleep, you have a high chance of developing prostate cancer. These here, make arrangements yourself. Go to the office, go through them. Operating policies and procedures. These cover preparation for meetings, preparation for musicians, preparation for sound management, preparation for film and media, preparation for protocol and ushers, pastoral teams, leadership trainees, security, sanctuary decor, and general preparations. Event planning. My blood curdles every time we have a function. My blood literally curdles. The documents are there that state how we must plan. The practice is normally totally different. Event planning, position paper. What must be done? When it must be done? How it must be done? The creativity that must go into it. We have been running conferences for so long. Guess what? 95% of conference planning can be done by a robot. If you just go and plan a conference and there is nothing that someone says, this was different from the last one, you have a leadership issue. Okay, it's quiet, so let me continue. Planning teams. Processes. Structures. Time scales. It's impossible to go and plan anything with sense with 10 people. Absolutely impossible. Absolutely impossible. I think the new requirement I have put now, event planning will be about 6, at most 7 people. Why? I walk in and I see a meeting with 20 people. 16 of them are just sitting, daydreaming, attending because they were told to attend. Contribute absolutely nothing for 2 months. Leadership is about need. Are you sure you're here? I sit and my brain says, did you cover this? Did you cover that? Did you cover that? Did you cover that? Some of you, you're going to be pastoring churches. If all you're doing right now is just come into church, you know nothing about how a worship team operates, you know nothing about how ushers operate, you know nothing about how what takes place so that a meeting happens, you're going to have the rudest shock of your life the day you suddenly have an assembly to pastor. Most of you that are pastoring right now were not prepared. You know why? You refuse to learn. We're not all the same, but the principle must be the same. One of the things that doesn't stress me, I can arrive here at 8 and get this place ready. Let me tell you now. I don't have to, because there are ladies committed to that. There are people within the ushering department who are committed to that. There are others who are not even ushers, but purely committed to that. And come here, and I can set the sound without frustrating myself. I can fire the whole worship team tomorrow and lead worship by myself. After leading worship, take the offering, preach, pray for the sick, and go home. Because that's what I used to do when we were in Entuman. So I have no problems. What you don't know, you cannot solve. Are you sure you are listening? So, I do all sorts of things. The ambience of the place, the way the building looks, the decor team always, even when I chase them away, they come back and they say, no, please, we just want 2 minutes. They know their line. We just want 2 minutes. We want you to look at the colors, the designs, the offices, I'm concerned with order. So when I walk into an office or when I walk around the offices and I see things as pongube wanje, I don't expect everybody to be the same, but I expect everybody to, at the very minimum, learn and say, this is important for me to do. Are you sure you're getting this? I wasn't born a musician. I learned how to play. I wasn't born a sound person. I can sit and I can listen to sound and I can tell you where the problem is. As our sound equipment has grown, we haven't developed with the sound equipment. So you have a conflict right now between the front of house, between the instrument monitoring systems, and between the voice monitoring systems. You have a consistent conflict. It's the easiest thing to solve. There is nothing easier to solve than that. Because all you do is you isolate each one of them, you play them separately, you bring them together, and then you... It's a matter of just... premarital counseling. When you get married without premarital counseling, you just postponed your pain for another day. Premarital counseling is not what we do in the church. It's what you need in order. Even elderly people who are sitting here right now, who got born again without premarital counseling, most of them are still living in the mistakes of what is in this guideline. How do you treat each other? How do you relate How do you communicate? Your wife is not your buddy. She's your friend. Are you guys or you come here? Because you don't know what this means, you'll be talking to your wife, when you think it's an expression of love. No, it's an expression of stupidity. Because you did not just go through basic premarital counseling. It's not my buddy. She's my friend. And there is no friend you do that to. You do that nothing a daughter. Well, there are no cattle here. But when it's normal to you, why is it normal? That's how you grew up. Have you ever seen abantu bomchova? It's like all of them were trained by the same mother. When they have nothing to do, there are no clients. That's the only expression that they know. When you didn't do premarital counseling, you'll be doing that with your wife. This is not a nice to have. Recommendations for wedding planning. I just discovered we have a couple at BG who have a company that hires chairs, tables, tents. I'm going to tell you this again so that you understand me. I'm very touchy about what I eat. In hotels, talk to Pastor Josh, who's connected to us right now. We have sat in Spares in Johannesburg, and I called back the waiter. And I said, eat this meat yourself. That's when I discovered what they do. You go into Steers or Spares, you order a steak. That thing was done a few days before. Put into the fridge. Then, when you order it, just common sense must tell you something. How is it possible that your steak came in 10 minutes? From between order to back to your table. Which steak do you know that takes 10 minutes to roast? So it's done. It's in the fridge. They take it, throw it back on that hot stove, turn it a couple of times, slap it onto your plate. So I cut this thing, put it in my mouth, and I can taste it's cold inside. How did a steak coming from a burner be cold inside? But yet, it's cooked. So how can it be cooked and cold? Same experience, we went to Nando's Greenstone. Greenstone? I think so. Greenstone. Same thing. That's the best way of collecting salmonella. And you know salmonella will kill you. There are people who will not survive a salmonella poisoning. So that those of you who are going to get married tomorrow, you know well. I will not eat at your wedding. That is being cooked by people who I don't know. That's no reason for you, because very normally I don't even eat at weddings. Why? Because the time they are eating is not my eating time. So normally I won't even eat. But the sinner never invited the church choir to sing at his wedding. invited a band from the nightclub to play at your wedding. Hi, Connor. There's something wrong with your head. That document there also states now, no weddings inside here. No auditoriums. No weddings. Maybe in the smaller auditoriums. Maybe. But we're not. The image is so imprinted in my brain. One of our assemblies, I got there to walk in, and there was a group like IASA performing. I was torn on the inside here. How long did we stay? Maybe 10 minutes. I even refused to. They were about to bring us food. I said, no, I don't want any food. We walked out. These people who were busy performing there had just walked out, were lighting cigarettes. I'm not going to say anything more. Duties and functions of ministerial staff. What does it cover? Elders. Deacons. Pastoral aides. Leadership trainees. And lastly, our motor vehicle policy. Nothing encumbered. What the state our motor vehicles should be kept in, and the disposal when it comes. Because if we don't have that, one day we are going to dispose of a car which someone is going to turn around and say, but I wanted the car and I was prepared to pay more. And then they'll go to others and say, but is this right? A church car gets sold for 5,000. I was prepared to pay 7,000. Why? Because there is no policy. Leadership is about seeking solutions. Are you guys here? Questions? If there are none, yes.
Sir, I'd like to find suppose a child of the ministry, maybe let me just give an example on the premarital counseling, and also on, you also spoke about the document that entails the management of an event, but here I'm talking about maybe specifically weddings, where someone chooses to maybe do something that is totally different from the standards that we have set. I just wanted probably your guidance in terms of how we handle that.
You'll need to give an example, because that will be easier. If I have an example, then at least I can speak into it. Without an example, that's very vague.
Okay. For example, say, as it is, our standard as a ministry is that every one of our children, if they're going to get married, they should go through premarital counseling. But suppose they don't go through that process, how do we handle that? Or how far do we go in terms of our involvement?
Okay, now what would have happened now? I want to make sure I'm answering the correct question. So they didn't go through premarital counseling. So what do we mean by involvement? What are we talking about by involvement?
What I'm trying to establish is...
are they not in my bag? Were my glasses... They're in the office. It's okay, don't worry. Sorry, go ahead.
What I'm trying to establish is our position. Say someone does not say do what we say. This is the standard. This is how we do things. If they don't do that, it's not that I don't know the answer, but I'm asking so that it benefits us as leaders. That when we don't do this,
don't ask for somebody else. If you know the answer, I'm not answering it. If you know the answer, the leadership is about need. You can't create a need for another person if the person didn't ask it because they don't have a need. I'm using the principle that I've just been teaching you. So we can't ask a question based on the benefit of others. If they saw the purpose, they must ask that themselves. You guys getting this? Patrick, come quickly. I need you to. I need that to be the whole page. Okay. All right. Let's start. Yes. Let's start with the year of alignments. The year of alignments.
Dad, if I see a need, but there is a leader in place who's supposed to take care of that need, how can I go about taking care of that need if it's not in my position and the leader is not doing what they're meant to be doing?
You go and you point out to the leader. You point out the issue to the leader. By the way, have you noticed that the roof is leaking? Do you need any help? Can I help? Because we have different people sitting here. Remember, we are all work in progress. Yeah, people here who, if someone does something they are personally responsible for, is like you are challenging their position. All right? That's why you find we have dynamic places. People are always changing. So, go and tell the person, do you recognize the roof is leaking? Did you see that this is happening? Do you need any help? Why am I offering help? Because I'm about solution. I'm a leader. All right? Then you come back. So the response you're going to get is going to be, oh, thank you very much. I had not seen that. Or, oh, I'm actually attending to it. I've sent so and so to go and get such and such. We should be sorting it out within the next hour or so. All right? Or you are going to get, oh, I know. Right. Now, we have a dynamic that is of concern in many of our lives. We normally act hypocritically. Silomcabango wama politicians. You see something wrong, you keep quiet ngoba ngingakhuluma kuza kuthiwa. Someone spoke to me the other day about a thing and I said, who said that? Hi, no right in this, no right. Wrong mentality. So you want the ministry to die just because ufuna to preserve okulibizo kwakho. If you have situation number 3, the person just says no, they know. You watch it for an acceptable limit of time. You told them on Saturday the roof is leaking. Sunday people were moving out of place because of the leak. Monday, it hasn't been done. Tuesday, you then cascade it to someone with higher authority. I'm a bit concerned about this. The roof is leaking in such and such a place. I did approach so and so. They said they knew. My concern is, it's Tuesday today. I told them on Saturday. Doesn't take that long to fix it. Do we have a problem in that department? Because if needs be, as long as I have your blessing, I can come here, fix this with no one seeing, attend to it and go home. So what I'm saying, I'm not trying to be seen to be doing this. But I'm also not comfortable coming to church and sitting in a leaking roof just because I'm trying to preserve someone's name. It's called integrity. Are you getting this? Look at us. The worst place in Bulawayo right now, the worst place is Hyper. In terms of traffic, it's Hyper. Where is Hyper? Bounded by a government fence. Are you sure you are hearing me? There is no policeman who doesn't pass there. How does traffic police manage to go and set a roadblock at Chipangali when you pass Lapan? No need. Therefore, no purpose. No emotional imbalance. Therefore, no need for solution. Are you sure you are getting this? Okay, let's look at a second place. Some of you are looking at me funny. Look at a second place. Not the High Court. Trade Gold. You can't drive there anymore. The place now, combis park in the center of the road. Do you know the weird thing? You have the post office this side, which is a government entity. You have the courts this side, which are a government entity. How on earth? You have Zimra there, which is a government entity. How on earth is that possible? Because every government employee stands up and says, the choice. It's not our department. Okay. Shall we continue? Yes, Talent, you were late and you have a question.
Good afternoon, Church. I wanted to ask if we can see that our leaders are not doing well. What must we do about it? Maybe if you see your leader is doing something that is not correct at that time, you are not a leader. How can I?
You saw that your leader is not doing well.
Yes.
First of all, you've got to know what well is. And secondly, we have a structure of authority in every assembly. There is a senior pastor, so you go to the senior pastor. Has your question been answered? If that's exactly what we were, that's exactly what I was answering. If there's a leader who's not doing well, you go and discuss that, but you've got to know that they're not doing well. Hello? How do you know that they're not doing well? It's because you know what the standards are. We're together? Okay. ZANU-PF never saw anything wrong with Mugabe. So you can't go to ZANU-PF and say Mugabe Kanganisi. They discovered it 1 week before they dethroned him. After 37 years, suddenly they had a revelation. Mugabe Kanganisi. 37 years. 2018, the year of alignments. So They're going to run this. I couldn't do a, what's it called? What? A PowerPoint. I couldn't do the PowerPoint using a projector. I would have preferred that because it, but anyway, we are going to go and run. What is the vision? Raising up relevant communities of Bible-based believers who are true representatives of the values and written lifestyles of the kingdom of God. That for some of you, you know the original statement before we varied it, okay? But it's still the same. Just a bit more articulate. Are you sure you're here? So, our vision as a ministry is to raise up relevant communities. What is a relevant community? A relevant community is a community that is up to date with its environment. For some of the people sitting here, they don't see the importance or the need why we have cameras. They don't see the importance. Why should we bother live streaming? Joburg right now, the leadership is connected. So they are here whilst they are in Joburg. People are getting ministered to all over the world because of the avenue of live streaming. And all it costs us in terms of the bandwidth is about $200 and something a month. That's a good price to pay for that. It also ensures our sons and daughters who are around the world who have not settled anywhere are not left gasping and desperate. Relevant communities. Number 2, Bible-based believers. Bible-based believers. Not go deeper believers. No. Bible-based. Their basis is the Bible. Number 3, true representatives. So that when people see the people who are raising, they are not just seeing another lunatic. Our mission, finding the lost, training the found, and sending the finders. If you are sitting here and you are called a leader, and you are not a finder of the lost, I prophesy upon you, you will not be here in the next number of months. That's forensic prophecy. A deep, what they call a scientific prophecy. You can't get deeper than that. A person cannot be a leader of a vision they are not leading. Are you sure you're getting this? Are you finding the lost? If the answer is no, you have a choice. Either you are here by mistake or you are living in sin. Sending the finders. Right now, we have a mold I still am working hard to break. The centralized mode. Every assembly expects its manpower resources to come from here. So we don't have an assembly that has planted a single assembly out. That's an unbiblical motto. Very unbiblical. This is not the Vatican. What are we supposed to do? Every assembly is meant to be planting. In fact, I lie. The exception is the country outreach. The country outreach plants assemblies out. finding the lost. Let me repeat what I said this week. When I said develop a narrow focus, that wasn't a license for laziness. What it means is, I have these 1, 2, 3 people. They are my whole world right now for February is here. Every week, I'm in touch with them. The bad thing about social media is it created cheapness in people's minds. If I can't do a WhatsApp call, therefore I'm not going to call. No. $1 can give you 3 calls, I think. It can, isn't it? Okay. $1 can give you 3 calls. Do you know what it means if the person does not have WhatsApp calling ability to get a direct call? How are you today? How are the children? How is school? So I focus and I focus and I focus. I am concentrating. I'm sitting in the combi, I'll minister to this person. If they agree, I'll take their number. But my focus right now, what is my focus? I want to see them get born again. I want them to accept Jesus as their Lord and Savior. First thing. Number 2, I want to see them in church. Don't let anybody lie to you going around telling people, no, you can just go to any church. No, people may not go to any church. You want an adulterer to go and pastor them. You lead them to the Lord so that an adulterer violates them sexually. No, we don't do that. Anyway, baba 8 o'clock nobody ever said that. If I'm worshiping here, the only way I'm going to take care of these people properly is I want them here. The difference is, if they are at MC, I'm going to phone return. There is this person here. Guess what? That's not what has been happening right now. Oh, and then then a month later, I know I asked Rutendo. No, it's your responsibility. Rutendo, did you see this person? Did you talk to them? Did you spend time with them? So I want to get a report from her. If I don't get a satisfactory report from her, I'm going back to that person. I know now I was wasting my time with her. Are you sure you're getting this? My aim is 4 weeks. I need to get these 3 into church. When I have them in church, it's much more easier. We can meet if we both work in town. Don't bring lunch tomorrow. I'm bringing lunch. Let's meet at wherever. I'm bringing lunch. What am I doing? I'm ensuring I'm creating a good excuse for us to get together. They've got a 30 minutes lunch. 30 minutes is too much time. We get there, we sit down. I brought sandwiches, maybe, mbeva sandwiches. We sit there, we chat. So, what did you learn from Sunday service? What did you learn from Sunday service? I love this point because, I relate. This is what happened. And so, there is interaction. 4 weeks, now you get them onto the platform. All right? 3 months later, I'm going to church to clean Saturday morning. Are you able to come with me? The reason why our sheaves are as we are, my pet monkey, the men's department, why do you think we have so much issues just getting men to do anything? Because they found an established position. You say to men, there'll be a bride. I'll have 80. You say to men, let's come and paint. There'll be 5. That's why we are working to break that. Right now, our generator room. Got there and I found work has been done. Very nice work done, proper. We have a proper generator room, not brand new asbestos sheeting, air circulation, vents, done everything. Whenever you see success, someone has paid. There is no isolated success. It just happened. There is nothing that just happened. Many of us, let me give you a history, those of us who came here later. You see these, what are they called? Rafters, no? What are these? The metal things. Rafters. Trusses. Trusses. Okay. So, trusses and rafters, for the sake of us who are not educated. This was a woodworking plant. Let me say it in Shona, Masebesta. The Ndebele people didn't hear anything. The asbestos was covered in sawdust. On the metal thingamabobs there was piles of sawdust like this. We were using a water jet to clean that. Someone had to pay for you to sit and then says, where cheese, Allah? Where cheese? What size hand do you have that produces more air movements than the fence? That, if there's one thing that irritates me, and I think you heard it this Sunday, that irritates me. It's a sign of a disconnected brain. You don't have an aircon. You're going to come here and start manifesting. Okay, sorry. Finding the lost. Then what do we do after we find the lost? Not the church, you. Find the found. And lastly, if you have sheaves who are not producing sheaves, it's because you got the sheaf because of a WhatsApp message, not from your heart. There are people here who have sheaves, who produced sheaves within a day or two. The person felt the fire as you were talking to them. They knew, I can't go there alone. You still here? What are our values? Number 1, community impact. Gearing our ministry and activities to impact and touch the communities we live and minister in. That's why in your paper bag, which is a church, as Funibumbud. Number 2, home churches. This is an area we still have not battened down, and mostly my fault. Number 3, excellence. In everything we do, everything we say, everything we are. Leaders, hear me. If your appearance does not make a sinner desire Christ, go and repent. As a guy, see, you can walk, can be so spiritual that you are disconnected from reality. Just walk around. No, not in public. You are scaring people away from God's kingdom. Quietly by yourself, Sambela. You don't know whether I'm praying or not. You don't know whether I'm praying. There was a guy who was a Yoja guy. He used to go to Kodini and preach. Preach and start speaking in tongues. The sinner looks and says, I don't want the Bible. The Bible says, for when I'm amongst other people, I will only speak a few words in tongues. Because tongues don't edify the hearer. They only edify the tonguer. You hear? Excellence. Let's become excellent. Desperate need for all leaders to examine whether they are where they are in this regard. Our homes, our workstations, our vehicles, our appearance, our speech, our way of ministering, our evidence of excellence. As a man, hamba ishave it costs $1. If you are as smart as I am, you just buy the packet from South Africa. It has 5 shaving sticks. They've been running a special and putting in a 3-blade for free. I think it costs 35 rand. It takes me 6 weeks. I use a stick a week. I shave myself. 35 rand is about $2.50. Lobo made. I get one made with the conap. No. You are going to be ministering to someone who has a sense of class. How can you look on I'm a sinner, but do I want to look like this? No, that's it. Your absence of excellence has just driven someone from the kingdom. Families, family redemption. Your family is your first church. Whether they are born again or not doesn't matter. They are members. And you need to tell them, I'm a member of the church I'm in. Your enthusiasm is very infectious. Number 5, relationships. Meaningful relationships that provide security for people to be who and what they are. When there are relationships, things become easier. Things become, there is stability where relationship is. This my daughter that we sent to school yesterday. Her flight, oh no, she's checking in now because I asked them to check her in at 11:30. She needed to be sent not by a mother. Mothers don't commission children. It's okay. 6, accessibility. Our ministry structure is not for people to battle to get to us, but for us to go to them. Number 7, joy. There must be, thank God for the transformation of the worship team. But it mustn't be joy at church only. Your joy is supposed to be done at home, not here. Then flyer. Flyer I flyer. I don't need it. Because you are definitely not trying to invite me. as miserable as you are, what are you inviting me to? There is no joy in you. Neighbors ought to feel joyful when they see you. Are you guys getting this? When you see them, you talk to them. How are you? How is so and so? His or her O-level results out. How did they do? And all in all, and you are looking for opportunities to minister. Oh, they're going to potting. Potting. Have you bought a trunk? No, hey, they are so expensive. No, give me a moment. Because we had so and so's trunk at home. Let me check. I'll phone you in 30 minutes when I get home. You get home and there is a trunk. Phone them. Oh no, we have a trunk. You'll just need to delete the name or whatever you do. What you do? You erase. So what's wrong with delete? Sorry? It's not the same. What is the difference between erase and delete? You erase, but you don't delete. Delete is more on the software side. You know, the good thing about the Lord is the Lord gave us now I don't know where this guy went to. Okay, that's all right. I'm not disputing your. Where's my phone? Sorry? That is what in pure English you call an imbromation. Right. Number. Oh, okay. Integrity. Integrity. Our leaders must always model a high level of integrity. Our leaders are not permitted, no matter how desperate, to borrow money from members of the congregation. I don't care how desperate you are. You want to borrow money, you go to another leader. You show it with, yeah? So, leadership. Leadership is the art of getting someone else to do something you want done because he wants to do it. Eisenhower, who was the commander of the armed forces, I believe that was World War II, I'm not wrong. Dwight Eisenhower. Leadership is the art of getting someone else to do something you want done because they want to do it. Why do they want to do it? Because when they are doing it, they are not doing it for you. With true leadership, the person bought in. That's why we talk of a buy-in. People say, church got Bothwell. And I always asking happy. Because I've never seen it before. My brother is one of those people. There's not a wardrobe. This is church. Church cannot be owned. A true church cannot be owned. Do you realize? Watch this. Some of us were never involved in buying of chairs. But are you sitting on a chair? Do you feel guilt? Okay. Some of us were never involved in the purchase of the sound equipment. Do you enjoy the worship? Do you feel guilty that you didn't contribute to it? Why? Because when you are in a family, no child says, because I was the first one to be there, this is mine, and that is mine, that is mine, that is mine. That's why when you talk, nyangekaya, is not the same as nya enviniam. Normally, the children are the ones who say nyekaya. The adults say nyenvi. Why? Because they own it. Are you guys getting this? Why are you? Okay. Leadership is the influence of others in productive, vision-driven direction and is done through the example, conviction, and character of the leader. Leadership, therefore, influences others to do what they were not doing before. Number one. Influences others to do what they were. What did you just say? They made a mistake. I'm not a leader. One department enzima ubufunu unikwa. Is anybody getting this? If we didn't have ubunzima, we don't need you. Worship team. The worship team. Or if there was a worship team, Mfundis didn't need you. Are you getting this? The reason Mfundis came to you is because he thought you were head and shoulders above everybody else, and because Mfundis was saying, I don't have to be dealing with this problem right now. I don't have to deal with this problem because I have someone with the ability to address that problem. We getting this? The older you get, your children grow up, there are things you don't do anymore. Are we getting this? Abantu babungwaqele lapho ngani sibuthanisa ama villagers ilokhu underneath this elokhu you know ezulwini, but bayesaba ukubuyela endlini ngoba iparty izaba sola. Icon, we need to stop looking like we're forced to be here. Number two, makes them productive individuals. Number three, provides them with direction that is so clear they can walk on their own. And lastly, because they have a pillar supplying them conviction of the cause and the character strengths, they need to succeed. What is true leadership? True leadership is I can live and I can go away and I don't have to worry. Who preached? You know, what did they preach? I never live stream our services because I want to see what was going on. I live stream the service because I want to be in the service. Not because I'm trying. How many scriptures did he quote? You know, how was he speaking? Why am I training you if I don't trust you? You know the beauty about training? Training is simply a place where I prove whether what I believe I saw from God that you are a leader, whether I was right or wrong. Leadership. Successful leadership is when people follow and enjoy whilst recognizing the risks, but choose to forego today's happiness for tomorrow's. So he said, I must start a worship team. I have a challenge. I don't even know where to start. But I'm going to do it. Right? So then I said, you look like you can sing. Me, I can't sing. No, come join the worship team. You too, come join the worship team. So Saturday afternoon, we are meeting here for practice. Right, let's sing. Okay. You stand there, you stand there, you stand there. Let's start afresh. So we do it until at least an audible voice is coming out. Are you guys here? Leadership has to create something from nothing. Do you really believe what I'm saying? Behind the scenes, we don't see what people do. Ushers meet here to practice, to talk. The worship team gets together here, talk, share ideas, pray together. The children's church sit at home, not watching TV, but doing lesson plans. I think we need to teach the children this, that. So this is the outcome. So this is going to be our focus. The people who clean the toilet, they have a vision. They want a toilet where people can walk in and be comfortable, be happy. If there is no vision, there's no leadership, because a leader is someone walking in front. If he has no vision, where is he walking? Personal sanctions. Sanctions and it. Theodore Roosevelt, American president, said, we need leaders of inspired idealism, leaders to whom are granted great vision, who dream greatly and strive to make their dreams come true, who can kindle the people with the fire from their own burning souls. In other words, when you take mortuary, mortuary produces death. When you take fire, fire produces life. That's why I don't believe in any leader who does not respond to the word. Never have believed. Never have believed. A leader who does not respond to the word is showing that they are called on the inside. When they are called on the inside, what you must ask yourself, do I want more of the cold? Do I want more of the hot? If you came here today and you said, there are 400 new people who have just landed in town, they are looking for a church. There are 200, they are Christians, but they are, conservative Christians. There are 200 sinners. I say, give me the 200 sinners. Give me the 200 sinners. Don't give me lava with brain damage. No. Give me the 200 sinners. Then I teach them. Remember how we used to enjoy ourselves in nightclubs? Yes, but we came out with a headache. Yes. No, here we are going to enjoy ourselves, but we won't come out with a headache. I know. Some people need immediately, they leave church, put them in a cage, feed them until next week, bring them in for a service, after the service, put them back in a cage. Because that's all that seems to be the relevance of their lives. Let's pray. Let's worship. Build a cage. I had a dog at the farm and I had to shoot it. Why? It went and borrowed habits from our neighboring farm. Get to the farm, no sound, no nothing, no barking. So why do I have this dog? The dog is passive. Then made a mistake, gave birth, abandoned the babies. So now I was buying milk, we're feeding the puppies. Fed all of them. We didn't lose one puppy, 7 puppies. They were hand raised. Then one puppy was trying to feed, beat the puppy so badly, I said enough is enough. Put a bullet in its head. Some people need a bullet in their head. If you are passive, so is my video ready? You seem confused, Patrick. You've been sitting on that video for 2 hours. No, put it here. Okay, this is going to take time. So let me continue. So let's talk about growing in leadership. How would you grow as a leader? An anonymous person said, what counts is not the number of hours you put in a day, but how much you put in the hours. A wise man once said, leadership is about seeing what others didn't see, then telling them about it until they see it too, and then getting them to commit their lives to what you saw, which you told them, and then they saw it. And at the end of the day, when they talk, they say, I saw it. They don't say, he told us. That's true leadership. You are heading the ushers. Did they see, or do they see what you see? Media, do they know what they are supposed to be doing? Or all they do is just stand behind the camera? Is there a vision? This is the product we need to produce. Do they know the product? If they don't, anything is suitable. Process of leadership. Number 1, purpose. This is the reason for being, justifies the existence of a thing. Your existence is justified by purpose. Without purpose, you have no need to be living on earth. Hello? They make no difference. No one even asks. Sometimes you feel. My neighbor at the farm, where you turn off the main road, there's a farm on the left here. It died. Was discovered after 7 days. Mukaita Jokuti is you, your wife, and your children, and your entire life revolves around your narrow-mindedness. One day the children are going to leave. And when the children leave, you are not going to start learning new habits when you are 60. A woman in Edenville, they discovered skeleton after 2 years. And they discovered the skeleton because the grass had grown too big, and one of the neighbors went to complain to the council. The council then sent the council police to come and give a, not warning, what is it? Whatever they give, to come and say, you must cut your grass, blah, 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 because, you know what, this is wrong. It's a violation of council bylaws. You must look after your yard. Arrived, gate locked. So eventually, jumped over the gate. Went to the door. You can see there doesn't seem to be anyone living here. Eventually broke the door into the house. Went looking around. On the floor was a perfect skeleton. Hair and all. 2 years. There was not even a smell. The maggots had done a 100% cleanup job. The maggots were not even there themselves. There was just clean bones. 2 years. How did it happen that a human being, this woman had a son who lived elsewhere. The son had died. Was the only person there. Are you, what kind are you? Animals themselves have got relatives who, I could show you hundreds of photos of buffaloes killing lions. When lions had attacked one of their own, buffaloes killing lion. What are you? Because to call you an animal, I would have to apologize to the animals. What's more, how do you call yourself a Christian, yet you exist? 3 days, your house has not had a visitor. 3 days, your house has not had a visitor. May God have mercy. The reason for being and justifies the existence. When you understand your purpose within a system, you maneuver yourself into your destiny. Without understanding purpose, you will abuse your life and celebrate your enemies. If you don't understand your purpose, you are just waiting to celebrate your enemies. Number 2, vision. So what begins is purpose. Your purpose then births vision. There would be no vision if... Why would you have a vision of being the best pork breeder in Dubai? They don't eat pork. So that can't be a vision. There is no need for it. Are you getting this? God is not going to give you a vision for providing something no one needs. That's why sometimes I get very worried. You know, I always watch this. Pastors. Oh, I'm preaching in South Africa. At the airport, carrying fire, going to preach at such and such a place. Who do you want to know? Who do you want to know? Oh, these pastors posting pictures of women rolling on the ground. It was a powerful Sunday. No, you had demons on Sunday. What was powerful about people rolling on the ground? Are you guys getting this? I'm trying to help you. Facebook. If it were not for the need, there would be no. Your vision to provide transportation was because the people had no transportation. You can't have a vision right now as they have now launched in Dubai. Now in Dubai, they have got taxi drones. The thing just arrives by itself. Lens, you just get in, put on your seat belt, and then just takes off. Then starts on its way to Kumalu. You're just sitting there, there is no cover, you just be looking at it. Ah! John! You can't have a vision to provide that here. First of all, there is no infrastructure. Even if you put the infrastructure, no one can pay for it. The leader sees it. It may be from someone else, but they catch it. It becomes theirs. Vision is tomorrow's reality expressed as an idea today. Vision is a clear picture of a desired tomorrow. Leaders have to dream, see what they dream so clearly, and they must have the passion and excitement of the joys of reaching that goal if it is to inspire someone. Your vision that has never inspired anyone is because it's not a vision, it's a nightmare. Number 3, goal setting. A goal is more than a dream, it's a dream being acted on. Wayne Gretzky, a hockey legend, once said, you will miss 100% of the shots you don't take. In other words, what you never attempt, you are guaranteed you will fail. The leader must know the goal of what they are doing and be very clear about what is to be achieved. Tom Garinga, president of Tangway Martial Arts Institute, said, a goal is an enemy to be conquered with a battle strategy and the commitment of a warrior. Therefore, one must have smart goals. Talk to me, someone. I said one must have smart goals. I'm wasting my time right now. Your enthusiasm, I don't think you are learning anything at the moment. We'll have to continue another time. You are not ready for this. It's not possible for me to teach and impart something you are indifferent about. It's not possible. You are here because you are required to be here. You are not here because you recognize your desperate need to develop as a leader. Your passive lethargicness is affecting me. There is no way you are excited about anything you have responsibility over. That's not possible. Not with this level of passive attitude. I didn't call you here to just be making notes and not thinking and receiving what I'm teaching you. And this is just the first section, because I needed to go to the leadership dynamics. I haven't even gone into the leadership dynamics. But this just, you know, icon, we are not going to accomplish what I need us to accomplish. 2018 is a very critical year. I said doing plans yesterday. We have 4 churches that we're going to open: Gwanda, Kezi, Wange, Plumtree. They are not openable at this level. Not openable at all. We have projects that are outstanding. Kelvin is worse than it was. Why? No passion to do the work. And Tubani needs to be built. I was asking myself last year, do I really want to give myself this stress? Because I arrived in Ntumbane 3 occasions to go and get some work done. The Ntumbane men themselves didn't even bother coming. The level of disinterest was shocking. So at this moment, I know I have to be project manager for the church in Sigola. I have to be project manager for Kelvin West, and I have to be project manager for Ntumbane. It's not possible to achieve anything outstanding at this level of fashion. Absolutely impossible. It is that. Are you aware that before you fail, you have to make a decision to fail? How do you make a decision to fail? You make a decision to be indifferent to success. There is no wealthy man who ever attacked wealth. Are you sure we're getting this? I'm going to stop here for today. Prove to me that this is important to you. I'm going to lead you in a way for 2018. I'm going to lead you in a very totally different way. We're already starting work in Kelvin. I never invited any of you. I'm doing the work on my own. Because after 2 years of jokes happening there, I can't frustrate myself. The easy thing, I can't frustrate myself when I'm by myself. I'm not able to frustrate myself when I'm by myself. Are you aware, by the way, that the reason I developed the habit never to be in a meeting at the beginning of the meeting was because of the shocking frustrations and emotional upheavals I suffered as a young minister. I'd get invited to conferences. I'd pitch up at the conference. Conference starts at 2. I arrive at 2. There are a few people. The host of the conference is not there. I'd come to church, arrive there, and people are connecting instruments. They are supposed to have connected the instruments 30 minutes before. So it became habitual. I'm rather praying because there were many situations I came into. When I walked into them, my frustration was so much that it affected my delivery and my ability to minister. So I stopped attending meetings on time. In a setup like this, when you find you will arrive in a training meeting later than the person who is teaching you, make sure your life is way ahead of that person, because you are displaying superiority. You sure you're getting this? The teacher arrives at school and waits for the students. That won't happen. And one thing about life is creating excuses is the simplest thing. It's transport, it's this person, it's that person, it's this. I was an usher at a church in town. And many times was either the second or the third to arrive after the person who would open the doors, having walked from Chabalala. Success is not a mistake. It's a decision you make. But success is a mindset. When you are passive here, I don't care what golden information you hear, what you go and produce will also be passive. Questions? Comments? Then we will continue another time when you guys really see the importance and want this. If there are none, good afternoon. We'll see you guys tomorrow.